Second topic I want to talk about 4th of June. This is going to be long. Is this. So Amy and I were talking, and her and I talked. You remember when I was talking about the eclipse and about how April 21st there was Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus the bull, and how it led to financial. Okay. This is what I'm talking about and why this is so important. 517 billion in unrealized losses hit U.S. banking system. FDIC says 517 billion. Warren Buffett lost 1.7 trillion today in the stock market on derivatives bonds. We are screwed, folks. Derivatives bonds are failing. Okay, so interest rates have gone up to 4.5%. Say that you get a mortgage loan, 3%. You're paying on that, but you have to pay on 4.5%. You have your money in the bank and stocks and stuff. You're losing out. Okay, the banks are literally collapsing, and people aren't paying attention to this. This is a huge, huge deal. Okay, reason being, as my other video stated, Daniel chapter 11 with Biden the raiser of taxes. This fits in perfectly and with the celestial signs in the sky. So June is Pride Month, right? Let me tell you something. You break down the word Pride Month, and it's P-R-I apostrophe demon apostrophe T-H. So you have Pride Demon. Okay, so it's Demon Month. Okay, but oh man, I want to touch this and I can't. So next, so June 11th is Pentecost. June 16th is Father's Day. June 11th, with Pentecost, I will be speaking of that in my next video. But June 16th is Father's Day. Okay, why is that a big deal? Well, because the Father is bringing his judgment down right now with all the wars and everything that's going on. God gave us signs, okay, in the sun, the moon, and the stars, for seasons, for months, for years. Okay, now that I said that, I have to read you a conversation between her and I. Okay, and the thing is, a lot of people do not realize that these signs that have happened on April 21st, all the way now, okay, to the financial collapsing of this, what's happening in the celestial signs, mind you, this timing right now from that is our transformation process to the rapture, because God says that we become transformed, right? So the transformation process began with the celestial signs. I know you're probably lost on this, so I'm going to try my best to explain this. So people don't realize, most Christians don't even understand, when Uranus and Jupiter conjuncted, which is united in Taurus, Father allowed our money system to be yanked out of place. So no one knew in that moment, but that's when darkness behind the scenes brought about major shifts and signed on the dotted line the agenda for us to lose our money and switch over to the new order system. That is why we are seeing the digital currency, and why we're watching the dollar melt, and why inflation has gone up so daggone high. It just wasn't being shown in a more obvious way yet. Okay. But people who have come from a satanic background have a clearer understanding of what's going on now, because we lived in that darkness. I have lived in that darkness. So now that I have been brought to light, I can tell you everything that happened in the dark. And I'm telling you right now, you don't want to go there, honey. You do not want to go there. Okay. Just as powerful as God's grip is on you, Satan has that same type of power to keep you in that darkness. And that is why a lot of people don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They don't want to try and understand what God has break down in the Bible. Okay, so they have been slowly rolling this stuff out, and it's not just been for years. I mean, it has been for years, and no one's noticed. Oh, I can still go on vacations. I still have money. My life's doing good. I don't see anything. It's not on the news. That's because they're not going to show it to you. Do you really think they want you to panic? No, but the rapture's going to cause you to. And that's when everything... Good job, Satan. Satan just took over. He just did his agenda. So everything that's happening is now. Okay, so he gave us signs. But the purpose is for us to realize more and what is obvious, that money, land, politics, and anything of this world, including churches or our own families or solid roof over our heads, cannot save us. We are made to starkly see the obvious difference between good and evil so clearly now that even people with true mental slowlessness or retardation or absolute ignorance can be offended finally at the foul nature of evil. And once we know evil is evil because of its putrid or spiritual stench, our soulless ways, it is easy to choose righteousness, even if it means that we are killed for it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, like other countries. So our Father is so compassionate, and so he must allow the darkness to continually get more dark until the biggest numbskulls wake up and start crying for help, despising the darkness. Not everybody's going to come out of this. This is what I'm saying. This is what the Great Tribulation is going to do. It's going to open up many people's eyes, okay? They want to live in their wealth. God's going to say, okay, live in your wealth while everything else is collapsing around you. It's literally like, I want to say, like a fish in a bowl with nothing in it. It just keeps swimming, swimming, swimming. Their brains are the size of a peanut, like a dot, okay? And they have one-track mind that they just keep going and going and going and going. They don't understand danger. So when a worm comes down on a hook, it's got him. Exactly what's happening with this world. So because of the Father, in his mercy, loves even those people, he wants to give them a chance to their new mind and new hearts in him. Okay, so Uranus means fast-shifting lightning. Fast shift lightning. With Jupiter, which means Father agrees, it means Jehovah, and it means Jesus. And in Taurus, which is the bull, this points to money, nutrient-rich soil, okay? This is where the famines are kicking in, the pestilence kicking in, the belongings, the possessions, the things of this world. Matthew 6:19-21. Do not conform to the things of this world where moth and rust destroy. Okay, and this is all comfort zones for people. They're too scared to step out of the comfort zone and be like, oh, I realize that the earth is burning and going down the toilet. Okay, so tactile matters, and so what we can touch, hold, and cling to, find a feeling of worldly security. So what happens is when bull is conquered and gone. Think about this. Like Jupiter, Taurus the bull, and Uranus, there's no more nutrient soil. Rich soil, no more money. The roof over our heads doesn't necessarily keep us feeling safe from the storms anymore, so what do we have left? For those who refuse Christ Jesus, they will find themselves in terror like they've never known, because all they leaned on to now was the world, which is the bull. This is why God... Okay, have you guys watched Hourly Watch with Patrick? I know a lot of people shied away because he's not once saved, always saved. But I'm telling you, you want a perfect explanation of the celestial signs, he's your guy. He is extremely informative, and Revelation12.com, amazing. Like, they can break it down like no other. So if I can't explain it in a perfect way, they are the ones that pull from Stellarium the constellations, and they break it down, the meetings, especially with the comets and the different stars and things that are going on. All right. So it's very important because God specifically gave us zodiac signs to look for, just like he gave the wise men the Star of Bethlehem to follow for 2 years to find Jesus. He's doing the exact same thing. He's sending a sign so we can find a time marker and understand what he's trying to point at. So for all those date setters, oh my goodness, what are you guys going to do, you date setters? That is so sinful. That is not of God. Please show me in the Bible where it's not of him. Please show me in the Bible that what we are doing is wrong. You can't. Because it's not biblical. What we are doing is presenting facts. And I want you guys to understand that how important just this little bit of information is. Okay, for those who lean onto Christ, they have peace that passes all understanding. Are we going to have an easy life? No, but we find refuge in anything that we go through, even if they find themselves with nothing left of the world. And a lot of us are being stripped. A lot of us have become like Job. Hello. Some people have already went through that season, and now their season of wealth is here. Me, on the other hand, I'm on a roller coaster, baby. And maybe that's why God gave me so many roller coaster dreams. So Jesus and his kingdom are the key. So the world can give us goods, but for only a temporary time. Okay, just like Satan. His time is temporary. He has an appointed time. Okay. But just as the bulls can do good and work hard, toil, but even the best and strongest bull eventually dies. That's the operating system. So the world is a mirage that fades away as we realize all we cling to was not God. Everything that they have clinged to the bull is gone to crap. People's going to be throwing their money in the streets. It's going to be worthless. Their silver and gold's going to do nothing. You're not going to be able to operate without the mark. I mean, if that tells you anything, it's all temporary. When I had, all right, I'm not reading this personal stuff because this is for her and I. So, pardon me a moment. All right, I'm going to start from here. So this was during the eclipse time when we were still here trying to ask God, why are we still here? What is the purpose? What is going on? So then we started hearing and seeing reports of people all over in the entire world laughing at believers for not only hoping for a rapture, but to believing in Jesus. Okay, so we watched this system that they have in play start crashing. Okay, we noticed we noticed entities falling from the sky. We noticed the spiritual realm started taking over. All right. It's like you sprayed perfume. You sprayed a fart bomb in the air. There you go. That's the best way to put it. We wear nice perfume, good smelling perfume, good aromas that people want to enjoy. Satan comes around spraying his fart bomb, and then you got those others laughing. That's funny, and over people. That's nasty. That's not cool. We're those Christians. That's not cool, Satan. That's not cool. Ain't nobody want to be smelling and touching all your aroma, because all you're doing is polluting the air, contaminating the people. Okay? And so that is exactly what he has done with the financial system. That is why we have a new world order system that is rising up. So apparently the word has spread so far across the world about the eclipse. Okay, and it wasn't just in America. I'm talking about this is worldwide. Even Christians started mocking people. Okay, or self-proclaiming Christians, because any true born-again believer would not make fun of the rapture theory, and they certainly would not make fun of anybody who has set a date or a time marker that they have felt, because not one of us said the rapture was that date. Not one of us are stating the rapture is any date. We are speculating from different clues and events, just like these in the signs. You have to look for them to understand. Okay, so people were thinking about the rapture and Jesus, or they were sitting on the fence, simply not hearing it, or they were mocking it outright. So no matter what, everybody got wind of this eclipse. So even basic news channels, including non-religious folks, were talking about how they were connecting the eclipse to Jesus. If this isn't something, I don't know what is. So then the Holy Spirit showed her, so do you see, everyone now knows. Yes, we was all invited just like to the wedding, but if they don't come, that's on their own choice. And it was a free invitation. That's what it was. Religious or not, everyone heard the gospel. You getting the message? Okay, so every single one of us, now see what is okay. Every single iota of what must unfold is now happening, but it happened at rapid speed. That's what I'm saying with the zodiac signs. So you had the eclipse, which wasn't the quote unquote eclipse, we know. That was an open portal, okay, for these for the ark door to be closed, for this type of understanding, because a human understanding cannot understand this stuff. So our Father in his own mercy will hold out, just as like we are parents who hold the ark door open, only closing the door in our agony is agonizing, torturous pain to leave our kids if we are forced to do so. And so the reason he calls for us to go up when the least people expect it is because he does not want to shut that door on his children. He loves us even more than we as parents love our own kids. Okay, and so all we have to do is think for even 3 seconds. If I was in the ark and my child was outside refusing to get in, and yet I'm screaming and crying to get in, when honestly, they would just yank the door shut. I mean, would I yank the door shut? No, he doesn't want to do that. So he's waiting for the very last person to get in. You notice that when Noah entered the ark, God waited until every single animal was on the ark first, and then it was Noah's family, right? And then he sealed the ark for 7 days before the rains came. That's how much love our Father has for us. Okay, so we know without a doubt, okay, that we're here. So we'd only close it at that same time, okay, the waters start to rage in, and then shut it to shear those inside and collapse to the floor of the boat in sobs. Okay, and they would just be bawling their eyes out. And it would truly be only when the worst nightmare is in action and falling upon us. We see the wars. We're holding back everything that's happening. And you have to remember, when the rapture happens, it is going to be as the days of Noah were: drinking, marrying, and given unto marriage. Okay, so this is why, and I was asking God myself, if Ukraine and all these other countries are getting bombed, why aren't we? Why are we still here? Because he says this: as the days of Noah were, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man, eating, drinking, marrying, and given unto marriage. That will not happen during the Great Tribulation at all. None of it. Goodbye. Financial collapse, gone. You're not even going to have time to have a relationship. You're going to be running for your life, because that's your punishment for not being obedient. I mean, clearly you think about it, the boat is rising up in the waters. People are fleeing to try and find refuge. There is none. What do? They die. So, he wants all of the babies. He wants all of us, because he loves us, and he is desperately trying to show the world what darkness looked like, a degree at a time. All right. And so many mothers know exactly what it's like when we have to refrain from going. All hell breaks loose on our kids for as long as we possibly can because we love them. Until we finally have to let loose and pull our rage card out because, time is simply up. And so I'm very sensitive and I'm able to pick up on codes and templates and like these little bits and pieces that God has showed. I see into just that tiny little speck. I'm like a telescope or a telescope. I can just narrow it down. And sorry, my fingers are really dirty. We went out fishing and my fingers are stained from worms and stuff. So anyways, so both of us, her and I both grew up in a satanic background. So we are able to feel things a lot more. And I see different patterns and how things play out. And like I said, it's hard to express. So when somebody asks for prayer and I pray, God reveals things, little bits and pieces to me to give a message to them. And they can't physically understand and I can't physically express it. It's because I was in that prayer. I was literally in that moment. I was in that time of all this stuff to occur. It's like I have deja vu. Okay, so now, here we go. And so what is even more fascinating is the heavenly bodies, is his time clock. And have you guys watched David the Watchman's video about the time clock? How there's 12 hours, 12 months, 24 was the 24 hours in a day. And I've been seeing 24, the number 12, since the year 2014. You all know this. And I've been seeing the number 24 for 10 years. Couldn't understand. Okay. Now I do. And then he breaks it down on how the Jews is, no one knows the day or hour or about the watches. That's what it is. Okay. And I'm not going to touch up on his video, but my next video will absolutely blow your mind. Anyway, so the heavenlies bodies is what I'm saying. He was able to break it down in ways that no one else could. Just like I'm able to see things that no one else can. And it deals with what's up there. So at times it can be difficult to see what exactly is coinciding with his clock. So they're doing many things. They're signing many papers, holding many rituals, and making many plans and agreements behind the scenes, especially with CERN. You guys see the rituals with that? OMG, with the portals and the demonic entities. And what I find, and I know Amy's going to be listening, this is awesome. So coming from a demonic background, we're watching these rituals, right, happening. We are physically able to know what their agenda is because we've went through those, we've seen them, we've experienced them. And so when they're doing their rituals, they are literally seancing the demons. So when CERN opened its portals, it opened up the gates of hell where I came from. And I'm telling you guys, that's why we're able to see it physically come down, and why a lot of people don't process that this stuff is real. That it's only in movies, you're exaggerating, you are a conspiracy theorist. I take that as a compliment. Just letting you know. And so they are watching and they are searching, and there has been many, many signs that people don't want us to know about. Satan does signs too for his mass deceptions. Remember that. And so while they're doing these things, we have to find it out later. So all at the same time, we also experience the sudden change. Just like there's the sudden change in the sky with the bull down to earth, the New World Order. It's a sudden change. People were caught off guard when C-19 happened. I mean, I don't think any of us, I dreamt about it, but I didn't dream about that. I didn't understand until after it started rolling out. Just like this stuff, the celestial bodies, and how they coincide with now and the New World Order and the bank collapsing and all of this. this is made for now. Just that is why God told Daniel, shut the book up until the end of time, because that is when you're going to get the understanding. All right. So the sudden shift also, the twinkling of an eye, like I said, in the twinkling of an eye, we all change. Okay, we change from corrupt to incorruptible. Okay, and that is what I've been believing, not just being saved, asking Jesus Christ. Obviously, you get changed within that moment, but I'm talking about the celestial sign, the twinkling of an eye. We are changed, right? And so the heavenly bodies have changed. That is the twinkling of a time. This is our transformation time. So when the rapture happens, we're already perfect. That's why I said, this how much? Just a tiny little dot is what we have left. And once that's completely fulfilled, we're completely in our spiritual bodies. We are in heaven. All right. So we too conjunct or join with Jupiter, and we too gain a higher form of the bull or comfort, our home, our security, etc. But for us, that will be in Yeshua or Jesus. So he is our home, he is our comfort, and he is our eternal one who took the hard yoke so we could take the easy. He did the work he told, but he is higher. Okay. What is it? Matthew 11, 28 through 30. Though my burden is heavy, or my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Or though your burden be heavy, my yoke is light. Take it upon me, and I shall give you rest. It's resting in him. I was paraphrasing. It's Matthew 11, 28 through 30. But this is where that comes in. So his yoke, he takes it upon himself, okay? Kind of like how a bull or an oxen does. They take the yoke. They make that the yoke on them. They balance it out so they can hold the weight, okay? But the weight of this world comes crashing in without having that, okay? Without having Christ. So those who are in Christ always get the higher degree reflection of the good, and those who refuse him get something similar, but in low degree, which is Satan, who, what happens is Satan copycats God, which he is making what's going to happen, a hell-like twisted horror version, mirroring, but never of God and never is good, and what's coming upon this earth is going to shake them to the core. Men are literally going to die because they are not going to expect to see a demon in front of them. I've encountered them, honey. I know how to get rid of them. So those who are not, who get left behind, that is where that comes in. Men's heart are going to literally fail them from what they see. It is going to scare them unbearable. So I hope that this gave you some excitement, because all of this was from April to June. So now we're in June and we're getting ready to bloom. June bloom. Huh. There's a lot of things happening in June. So I'm going to continue on to my next video. See you there in the air. God bless.